Today I'd like to introduce you to the greatest heli pilot you've ever seen, or at least will see, because this is the Super Buffing Challenge with the Apache Prime. But first off, of course, we'll start off with the lower tier upgrades, starting with the 000 heli pilot, all the way up in tiers one at a time as each subsequent tier reaches their highest max round. Now, if you have really good memory, or you just happen to have watched said video before, then you might remember that I actually did already test the 000 heli pilot, but that was before Giraldo was added, and of course I am missing several buffs such as Sharpening Stone for +1 perimeter damage, and the Cannon Pod for extra DT damage. So now with those additional buffs, we might make it to a higher round than we did last time, which was round 102. And now let's just cut to the gist of it, round 102. +1 damage might not seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it does add up, especially when you consider how many darts are on screen, so unfortunately it is kind of pushing on us a little bit. I was even contemplating doing a jar of pickles for extra fortify damage, but not sure if that's actually worth it. And good thing we don't have to contemplate it because we did it. With Giraldo, indeed, anything is possible, and you can reach higher and higher highs. If you want to take a look at the top right, we were capping out about 7,000 damage per second on just a single base heli. It's not every day you see numbers that high on a 000 tower, that's for sure. We are not just breaking the record, but we are absolutely destroying it. Unfortunately, 106 might be your demise. Feels like the wave is just too long, and I just don't have the firepower to keep up. Unless it's a straight line. Which now, this actually begs the question, would Resort be better than Lugs? On paper, I really want to say no. Because the biggest threat are usually bads, and on a Resort, there's just too much of a hole on the bottom left section where the heli would be so far away from the main part of the track. Also, 106 seems to be the end because I tried jar pickles and that didn't work either. So let's now upgrade to the 202. Doubles the amount of darts, so in theory should be double the amount of damage, if not more than that, because of the attack speed bonus, and that difference is clear as day over here. The base heli here is not yet done being a powerhouse. I'm seeing the damage is up to 16,000 per second, more than double of the 000. This also might be news to some of you, but I ought to show you this if you haven't seen. But when you increase the range of the heli palette, yes, it also increases its sight range, so I can shoot from this far away from the DTs, and it will still be able to track it down. I don't know about you, but I kind of find that oddly satisfying, like half the track away even. Pretty nutty, and doesn't even look like it should be a thing. But anyways, looks like we're gonna cruise into the triple bad round with the heli doing about 1,000 single target. More than enough for the HP of this right now. So there's number 2, and here's number 3. Easy peasy. Unfortunately, if 126 is looking a little bit scary, I fear for 128. How will our 202 want to handle fortified DTs? Well, let's try to get in the straightest line possible, aka I guess here. And then if DTs ever catch up, which so far they're not, so the straight line is actually working for us, I think we can actually do it. Nice. With a good amount of leeway left too. And I guess that's where that big range comes in handy, the big detection range, because that allows us to keep the straight line for so much longer, which in my opinion validates my decision to go for Lugs over Resort. Unfortunately, while my kill list is not a DT round, but fortified ZMGs are looking like it's too much. Unfortunately, it does look like we're hitting Pierce Cap season. It'll be pretty close though. We got a homeland up. BFB is approaching the final bend. Actually, it's possible we can clutch it. And indeed we somehow do. Unfortunately, I'd be very surprised if we could beat this round because it's more space, which means it actually kind of ruins our straight line action since its targeting is all over the place, and it is not even close. And it's also a shame too because Razor Rotor is a bit counterintuitive to the max buff 202 test, because as I said, straight line action, meaning Razor Rotors is usually never hitting the same balloon that you want the darts to hit, but maybe that's okay. Maybe the Razor Rotor's max buff damage adds up. We will see by putting it over here, right at the entrance so that it gets initial DT damage. Now back to the middle. Good news, it is beating more DDTs than 202. Bad news, it's not enough. So that said, it's time for a big upgrade. Apache Dart Ship, let's go. We don't even need to refresh the homeland, because with the extra attack speed and the missiles also helping do damage, it is gonna wipe the floor. You can just see how much faster the main darts are. And that's why I think the max buff top path heli might surprise a couple people, since it already has inherently a high attack speed, meaning any damage buff you give is just going to be amplified by that much. As for single targets on the F-pad, 5,000, I'd say is pretty solid for the tier 4. It is going to beat the F-pad before it gets past the second bend. Very nice. As always, I love trying to angle the Apache, or any max buff tower, to see how much damage they can do at any single point in time, and I think I saw a peak of 50,000 at once there, 69,000. Nice. The cool thing too with the heli pilot is that its missiles are format range, so we can also do some really weird stuff like this, for example, which obviously isn't practical, or a good thing to do at all. So I'll move back in to beat these DTs here. But nonetheless, it is very funny and satisfying to look at. Don't mind me just giving my missiles the hardest time of trying to track the balloon down. The added benefit here too is the fact that its lack of lead popping power in the darts is still helping us because we can still keep the sharpening stone buff with Geraldo. Again, the extra +1 really goes a long way. I'll admit in normal game scenarios, the Apache dart ship is one of the lesser used towers in my arsenal, but I'm starting to have some appreciation for it. But again, I understand why I also don't really use it in normal games. It's because it's, well, exactly the reason why it's better in the max buff, because of those lack of, like, lead immunity. Black balloons too, meaning yes, if you have no buffs given on your Apache whatsoever, it will do precisely 0 damage to DTs. So personally, I mainly just see the Apache dart ship as a stepping stone to the Apache Prime. Never as really a tower I would stop at, ever. Also, is this the round we're gonna lose on? 165? It has come a lot further again than I expected, but we're still hanging on. I will say, though, that other game modes that don't go to 100 rounds still matter, and so the Apache dart ship still fills that niche, and that if you get it, like for a hard standard or even an alternate Bloons rounds game, then the Apache, like, can beat the whole end, all the way up to round 80, and so for that reason, it's still viable in that aspect. I won't speak on behalf of every expert or experienced player here, but there definitely are times where we forget that other game modes outside of Chimps mode exist, or even free play. But there can be metas for that too, and also, 169 is looking like the end. Last try here to squeeze out a couple rounds. I gotta focus the fortified DTs, and fortified DTs only. So just try to angle it for a straight line action, but the fact that we're lacking the middle path jets, faster jets, is what's causing us to not always get the best angle. We survived though, so I'm taking it. Perhaps I could also be misremembering here, but I swear this is one of the highest tier 4 towers gone to. But alas, 170 is the end because I had homeland at the entire time, and it did nothing. So now we hop onto the upgrade you've all been waiting for. Let's get it. And now let's see the difference Apache Prime makes with its lasers. We might lose the +1 from the sharpening stone buff, but trust me, the upgrades that we'll get from the Apache Prime will be so much more. Or not. Wait a minute. Okay, I did get cold arms off, but I guess I didn't have homeline for the start, so perhaps we really do need that. Let's go again. That was awkward. Surely Apache Prime won't let me down here, right? Well, let's find out. Called arms is active? Oh, and it barely worked. Sheesh. So right now you can see it's obviously an upgrade over Apache dart ship, but I think the reason why the difference isn't like that big is because I took a look and you actually don't get extra attack speed on the Apache Prime, even though I guess it looks like it's faster because I guess the lasers look cooler and all that. But it's only damage buffs, which once again, due to math, does not end up being as good as pure attack speed bonuses. So if you're expecting anything near round 200, then don't, because you're probably not going to make it. The DPS on a bat is only 8,000, so that's not even double what it was for the Apache dart ship. Could I get a big yikes in the chat? On the bright side, I am seeing a peak of at least 6 digits. That is unfortunate though, because you would think these lasers feel like they'd be doing so much more. I see 150k at some points now. It is taking a while to break down these bads. Sheesh. Truth be told, I think an FDT round would take us down. Here's our first real bad test, I think. I'll try my best to angle the dart ship so it gets all 3 bads at once. Currently, not doing the greatest of jobs, but I'm trying. I am trying, alright. We really need to get number 2 down. So I'm trying to aim those lasers. Not really doing, again, a whole great job. And I'm probably dead to this DT here. Not yet. Okay, this is going to come down to wire. And luckily we got Homeland off for the final ZMG. So, oh, we're not going to have enough there. So one thing you can't change with the Helipilot is if I ever see something in range, it'll always target first, which isn't a bad thing, of course, but I'm just saying with the added massive range that we get, with all the range buffs, it does make it a little bit annoying if there's other balloons on screen. Okay, this run is looking better by a lot. We beat all 3 bads very early and their DTs. Now it's just ZMG's gotta deal with, and yep, Beta Micro definitely goes a long way. I'd say we can push at least into the mid 180s. But again, there's more fortified DTs this round too. So this set over here, let's try to straight line it. Now we're losing it. We're losing focus. Straight line. Just lock it in place here. And that'll do. May not be the strongest tier 5 max buff all time, but again, when you get that straight line action, the magic 3 words, it is just very pleasing to look at. Repeat it with me, y'all. Straight line action. Okay, we're gonna need some really, really good straight lines here. Come on. Oh, if we had any more DTs than that line there, then I don't think we would have made it. But yeah, I wasn't wrong, was I? We can indeed make it to at least the mid 180s. Here's another DT. Just got Homeland off, so I think we're good. Right? Oh, this time we died to the last DT. So this will be very hard to optimize fully, because there is so much you can do to perfect Heli Micro. Come on, do I have to drop a rejuve here for, like, to get Homeland immediately? I think I do. Having only called armors for, like, the first 5 seconds here is simply not gonna cut it. Nope. We've activated rejuve, so this time, having it early, well, let's see the difference. Should be substantial. Move it back down here for the final straight line, and yup. We're good. Once again, a big thank you for Geraldo for existing. That is all. We're probably gonna need Geraldo again, don't we? Yup, another long DT round. So this is my final rejuve. Any more, and I won't be able to get out of it without power selling, but I'd like to personally not do that. Just try my best here, but nope. Last try here. I will use Call to Arms only for that first set of DDTs, but save Homeland for right now, when there's the scariest clump, and let's see the difference, because we'll have Homeland up the entire time for the entirety of this long wave. Come on. Nice. We needed solid Heli Micro and perfect village timing on top of that. We still have to deal with bats. End this off. Please pop. Oh, that was close. I definitely puckered a bit. And if we die here, I'm gonna be so sad. I feel like we will die, though. No. Yes. You know what? At this point, any round the Apache Prime dies on, I'd say success, because it's just one of those towers that is okay when given max buffs, but certainly no attack zone. So because of that, I would say 188 is respectable. One last try here to see if we can pull through. It was here that we died to, and we had Homeland the entire time, so that's not a good luck. Just, again, leave it in place, but we die 2 DT short. Okay, I lied. Last try for real here. Just in case my micro was a bit off the other times. But nope, seems to die every time. I did say earlier I would try Resort, so okay. One quick try here. I did say DDTs were the weakness, but if we're playing on Resort, then it's much better than Logs, obviously. Now I'm just making sure that the map is good enough to still deal with bads, though. So don't mind me as I retry the hardest bad round, which is 186, but despite the DTs being easy, bad's not so much. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, but a genius way to land every shot on space pads is simply to target the back bad, or hover the heli over the back one, so that, like, since it always targets first, it'll always aim for the first bads here, but I gotta go back for the DTs. Last try. Let's try to change the timing of when the bads pop for when Homeland's up. So now, please don't die. I need to try to aim to pop this bad too in the back. Come on. I needed to spawn out DDTs, like, now? Okay. But despite it being a best run, it's just shorts. So that answers the question. Logs is still better by a hair. GG's again, overall pretty good stuff from the Apache Prime. If you want to watch more Max Buff videos, then click here. Otherwise, I'll catch you all later.